Explore the secret caves of Warren County and discover the New Brunswick mystique. Shoot sporting clays with Cousin Brucey and tour Walt Whitman's Camden. Then meet some very wise feathered friends on Discover New Jersey. Welcome to Discover New Jersey.
And welcome to Six Flags Great Adventure. I'm Roz Miller Sparks.
And I'm Jeff Strait. Six Flags Great Adventure is one of America's premier theme parks.
This spectacular park is packed with family fun and thrills, and it's located in Jackson, New Jersey, right in the heart of the state.
Centrally located for other fun forays throughout the Garden State.
First up, Point Pleasant with Dick DeBartolo.
Now, Dick is one of the funny guys at Mad Magazine, but he's also a motorboat buff.
Hey, have you ever thought about owning a boat? I own one. See that big yacht down there? Mine's just like that, except mine's like 40 feet shorter, and that sleeps 6 and mine sits 2, but comfortably.
I've been an avid boater for over 25 years, and boating gets easier all the time. New Jersey has over 350 marinas and plenty of water.
Hey, so you wanted to own a boat. You're worried about the upkeep, the maintenance, the dockage. There are lots of options. Hey, matey, listen up.
First of all, there's the rental market. New Jersey has about 50 places that will rent small outboard-powered motorboats for fishing, water skiing, and, hey, just cruising around.
And then there's the Adventure Boat Club. And that started right here in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Hey, once you become a member of the Adventure Club, you get to captain neat boats. This little Chris Craft, a racy, speedy little guy. I've been out on that. I like it. And they have a bunch of fishing boats, little cuddy cabins so you can spend the whole day out on the water.
I'm going to slip behind the helm and play captain, as a club member might do. Since this is my first trip out, a couple of guys from the Adventure Boat Club joined me, including Jim Majeski.
Dick, it's for anybody who's interested in having a boat.
But what about experience?
Well, that's the best part about it. We provide on-water training. A professional captain takes you out on the boat for 3 hours on your first boat trip. And also we provide classroom training.
How often can I take a boat out?
7 days a week if you wanted to.
Hey, we have admission.
Get around, I get around, yeah, get around.
The Adventure Boating Club is located at Clark's Marina, one of Point Pleasant's and the North Shore's biggest waterfront operations.
By the way, if you're in unfamiliar waters, bring a chart with you, okay? In your car, it's a map. Out on a boat, it's a chart. So we're going between those buoys?
I've never boated the Maddest River before, and I'm excited. They say it's one of New Jersey's legendary boating areas. There are more marinas than golf courses.
The other thing you should do before you go out on your boat, make sure you have your life jackets. We did that. And you want to make sure you have a paddle and flares, all the things that the Coast Guard and Coast Guard Auxiliary recommend. Once you're out on the water, it's sort of like driving a car. The only difference is you get out the wrong side here, you drown.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the...
Okay, so now you know several ways to get out on the water without owning a boat. I'm looking for a place that rents luxury liners. I'd like to take out like 1,250 of my closest friends and really make a day of it.
But seriously, take Dick's advice and join a boat club. That way you can discover New Jersey's wonderful Atlantic shore for yourself.
Now, New Jersey's other great shore, the Delaware River, was a favorite of one of America's greatest poets, Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman loved the Delaware River and sailed the ferry boats of his day between Philadelphia and Camden. The great poet's Delaware is now mostly a memory, but his words are headline fresh. Listen as Melissa Smith reads some vintage Whitman.
American democracy, in its myriad possibilities, in factories, workshops, stores, offices, through the dense streets and houses of cities, must either be fibered vitalized by regular contact with outdoor light and air and growth, farm scenes, animals, fields, trees, birds, sun warmth, and free skies, or it will certainly dwindle and pale. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me, the long brown path before me, leading...
Leaves of Grass, Whitman's lifelong song of discovery, has inspired generations. Discovering Walt Whitman's America is as easy as getting to southern New Jersey. The river bus ferry links Philadelphia with the New Jersey State Aquarium and Whitman's Camden in the 1870s and 80s. The Camden days saw his reputation as one of America's great poets take hold, and his bearded sage image fix itself on the nation's eye.
Walt Whitman was famous in town. As best I can tell, not always everybody understood what he was, but they always knew him.
Curator Doug Winterick runs Walt Whitman House Museum, a former home of the poet.
A very simple working man's house. The railroad was 100 yards away. There was the lovely odor of a fertilizer factory in Philadelphia wafting over, but Walt liked it because he was so close to all the things he loved. He had always been a carpenter, he'd been a house builder. He didn't want to live uptown. He wanted to live with the people he wrote about and felt the closest to.
The good thing is, Walt Whitman's neighborhood is just a short walk from the river bus of the New Jersey State Aquarium, over here. The museum has mapped out a self-guided walking tour of various Whitman sites. Doug Winterick showed me around. The area is alive with restoration workers, and Whitman, a publicity hound, would have loved it.
So this is his brother's house, right?
Right, and this right over here is Walt Whitman's bedroom.
We can see inside it.
Yes.
This is kind of the real Walt Whitman exposed.
The highlight of the tour, of course, is a visit to Walt Whitman House, newly restored and open.
So why don't you follow me and we can go on in and see.
For many, the small museum is no less than a shrine.
Well, you know, obviously he's one of the greatest poets our country produced, and the fact that he's like 6 blocks away from my shop, I'm just impressed by it all.
I have perceived that to be with those I like is enough. To stop in company with the rest at evening is enough.
America's Bard spent his summers with friends 10 miles from Camden in what is now Laurel Springs. The picture-perfect farmhouse should be visited, and so should Whitman's tomb in Camden's Harley Cemetery. Each day, because he willed it, the tomb is unlocked for visitors, and probably for Walt himself.
There is something in staying close to men and women and looking on them, and in the contact and odor of them that pleases the soul well. All things please the soul, but these please the soul well.
Remarkable poet.
No, he was. Visiting his Camden home was like meeting Walt Whitman himself. We were all spellbound.
In a minute, we'll return to see where and how disabled eagles and hawks return to the skies and discover an English alternative to the hunt.
Now, here are some wonderful family activities you'll want to take note of.
Slow down, you move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy.
For a free, beautiful New Jersey travel guide, call 1-800-JERSEY-7, extension 910.
It's not about chess. It's really about a love triangle, and I think chess is a metaphor for the moves we make in life. And it's basically a love story.
The classic game of strategy on a real-life scale at the Paper Mill Playhouse this week on State of the Arts.
Only on NJN.
Very good. What'd you pick?
Welcome back to Discover New Jersey.
We're in the Aqua Stadium at Six Flags Great Adventure.
That's right, and these dolphins and the dolphin shows here are just great. But we've got to talk about some other animals.
Birds of prey or raptors sometimes need a little doctoring and TLC.
Healthy owls make for a healthy balance in nature.
Not necessarily happy prey, though. But Cheryl Jacobs takes us to a hospital for hawks and other feathered friends in Morris County.
Okay, I'll get this snowy.
26 years ago, Dr. Len Susi found a cardboard box on his doorstep, and his life hasn't been the same since.
You gotta get our medicine.
I've had a lifelong interest in birds, and especially the birds of prey. And one morning I woke up and there was a red-tailed hawk that had been shot in a cardboard box all folded up on my door stoop. And I didn't know how to fix it, and very few vets knew how to fix it. There were no facilities like this to care for wild critters. And so I saw a deficiency in that, and that one event kind of turned my life around.
Potato oil?
That one event inspired Dr. Susi to turn his lifelong passion and his backyard into the Raptor Trust. Located in the Great Swamp Wildlife Refuge in northeastern New Jersey, the Raptor Trust is this continent's largest aviary and bird hospital. It heals and houses close to 3,000 injured birds a year, and it's become home to the birds of prey that can no longer survive in the wild.
Hey, Ron. Do you see another?
Visitors are welcome at the Raptor Trust. Classes are held free of charge at the Education Center, and it's a regular stop for students like this field ecology class from Kane College.
Yeah, the education is probably, at this point in time, the most important part of what we do.
Approximately how much does that owl weigh?
3/4 of 1 pound.
Wow.
400 grams. Everybody that comes here gets an education. Can you fly today? Let's see how well you fly. I want to see you fly.
Along with an education, it's likely that visitors will get a glimpse of Dr. Susi exercising a golden eagle or talking with a great horned owl.
They're big, long conversations. I'm not quite sure what we're talking about, by the way.
The Raptor Trust gives us a unique opportunity to learn about some of New Jersey's most endangered residents.
I think biologically, if we can sell the concept to young people especially, that all creatures on this earth are important to the stability of the whole, all things are important, then they don't have to wonder what good is something on this earth. What's the problem here, Mark? Tell me what
He's got a broken femoral head. It was shot.
This bird is shot. This is the white is the... Many of the things that are on this earth are troubled because Homo sapiens are here. We've taken up too much room. We've usurped wild creatures' habitats, disrupted their food chains. It's still possible to keep the viability, but we really have to make a concerted effort and do a little bit better job in the next 100 years than we have in the last 100. And here we go.
Noble, wise, and powerful. It's no wonder these birds symbolize freedom. And because of Dr. Susi and his dedicated staff, these majestic birds are given another chance to live free.
Not real happy about this whole event. Hey, you're going free. Come on. Knock it off. Releasing them back into the wild when they are whole and giving them a second chance at life, that's a good feeling. See that? That's freedom. Go. That's where they should be, not in these bloody cages. They should all be free.
The people at the Raptor Trust have been doing a great job.
They sure have. I'd like to introduce you to our new co-host, Freebie.
Freebie. Hi, Freebie. Freebie's a sea lion. I'm sure he'd like to know that the English are the kind of people who know how to put the shine on a very venerable sport, the sport of hunting, without ruffling a feather or fin.
And Rock and Roll Radio's cousin Brucey, not an Englishman, but a sportsman nonetheless, tried his hand at this very civilized form of the hunt.
I have to get dressed now to get ready for the sport. It'll only take a moment, I promise. Don't go away. I'll be back in a moment. See? Told you. That didn't take too long, did it? I'm here at the Big Spring Sporting Clay course, and... Oh, no. I'm not going hunting. I'm going to go target practicing. We're going to be shooting at clay targets. It's going to be fun, exciting, and entertaining. Let's go meet our instructor. Neil? Excuse me? Cousin Brucey? You're my instructor.
Hello, Bruce. How
are you?
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. What do I do?
All right. First things first.
Yes, sir.
Safety.
Well, that's a number one, and probably the most important, safety on the range. My instructor, Neil Chadwick, told me to keep the gun open, wear my earplugs, and put my shades on for eye protection.
Brilliant.
One question. Which way do I point the gun?
You need to get it high in the shoulder.
Well, now that I know everything there is to know, what is sporting clays?
And a nice grip round. Well, it can be competitive or it can be fun. Started in England about 100 years ago, throwing glass spheres filled with feathers to simulate birds. And this is exactly what we're going to do today.
And they're made of clay, these round...
That's right. They're clay targets, not live birds.
All right, I'm ready to try. Can we try one?
All right, let's go.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, Jack. Ho! That really was my first shot. Now, I'm ready to take on the champion. This is Denise Losty. Not only is she the U.S. 1991 female champion, but she is also the 8th-ranked female in the world.
Good shot. Good shot. Well done.
Well, it just looked like fun one day. So we went out and started shooting, and the more I did it, the more I liked it. And I just enjoyed getting out and breaking the targets.
Now, what I love most about sporting clays is that you move around. You shoot from 10 different stations with different kind of clay targets. My favorite target, and especially, is the rabbit. What does it actually do? It goes on the ground?
Along the ground. We might get a bounce, depends whether it's a stone or a root or whatever, and we might get a bounce.
I have an idea. You go first.
Okay.
Hold your hats. The roof is about to tumble in. Holy cats. The walls and floors are crumbling. Hills up top. Hills up poppin'. Hills up poppin'. Whole gang's whooping up whoop-de-doo.
I've never had anybody shoot here that didn't break at least one target out of 50. I have customers from 10 years old to 80.
Hey, looks like a lot of fun, huh? And you want to join us? All right. We went to Big Spring Sporting Clays in Sussex County. And there are several other courses in southern New Jersey. Now remember, safety plus concentration equals a terrific fun day. Look, obviously, my cousins, sporting clays is not for everybody. But if you want to learn something new, you want to have a terrific time and meet great people, and you get very close to people doing sporting clays, this is for you. I wonder where they're going to send me in Discover New Jersey next time. Who knows? It could be anywhere. See you then. Now listen, I want to try something tough. You see that thing up in the tree over there?
What a great way to keep the aim and reflexes sharp.
And a great way to look very, very English. In a minute, Discover New Jersey returns to go spelunking. That's exploring caves.
Then we'll resurface so that I can discover the culture, entertainment, and dining of New Brunswick.
Here are some more enjoyable events and activities you'll want to take note of.
In a mellow tone, feeling fancy free, and I'm not alone. I got company. Everything's okay.
For a free, beautiful New Jersey travel guide, call 1-800-JERSEY-7, extension 910.
Welcome back to Discover New Jersey.
We're still at Six Flags Great Adventure, having a wonderful time, and considering going on the parachute ride back there.
Who's considering going on
Well,
that
we
ride?
are, aren't we?
No, you're considering it. I'm going to let Sherry Culver go on an adventure.
Where's she going?
Well, she's going to discover the subterranean mysteries of our state.
That's right, underneath the sylvan forests of Warren County.
Discovering a new passageway that no one else has ever been into. That's great. That's really an exhilarating feeling.
They're one of the few frontiers left to the backyard explorer. New Jersey has just over 100 known caves, mostly small, confining places. Few are over 100 feet in length.
When I was younger, a cave represented a physical challenge.
When I get older, I think it's a little bit more the intellectual challenge to it.
It's not for the faint-hearted, unathletic, or claustrophobic.
You got to be very careful in the cave.
The most important rules in caving? Proper training and equipment. Never go alone.
We have just enough people in this party. We don't like to cave with less than 4. That's right.
Devil's Kitchen number 2 in Warren County is a 40 by 30 foot room easily reached through the 4-foot entry. It's dominated by a rocky shelf. Like most caves here, it's sculpted from limestone in an eon-slow process that continues today.
Rain, when it falls on the ground, percolating down through the soil, picks up an acidic component and becomes able to dissolve the rock at a very slow rate over thousands of years.
This seepage results in a relative humidity of close to 100%. Temperature in a place untouched by the sun never varies. It's a saturated, remarkably constant environment.
It's the average temperature of New Jersey, winter, summer, probably about 55 degrees, 57 degrees.
If there's an accident in a cave, there's one thing you have to remember, the hypothermia. That's your worst enemy in this type of environment.
Now, it's really important to have 3 sources of light with you, just in case anything should happen. You want to have backup light. But if your light should go out, this is what it looks like.
Well, many cavers carry these small portable lights. Although it's quite little, it will shine quite well for you if it were completely dark. And I also have just a handheld flashlight.
The slow work of the water creates delicate formations like these hollow tubes called soda straw stalactites. A single touch and they would be lost for generations. Conservation is the caver's
Can you
ethic.
put that in your pack and we'll take it out?
I got it.
Thanks. Oh, I like to be in the back of the cave. You're less likely to find graffiti or any other kind of vandalism, and in some cases, that's where you're more likely to find the wildlife.
Not many creatures prefer to live in such an inhospitable place. Bats, cave crickets, spiders, and an occasional visiting animal.
Yeah, there's a jawbone for something there.
Let's see where this goes here.
A cave is a contradiction. It's a fragile yet harsh environment.
There's people inside the cave right now surveying it. Since this is a cave we didn't know about until recently, we wanted to map it out so that people will know in the future how much cave is here and how the passages relate to each other.
You've got 6 feet 4 inches, write that down. Any cave that we find, we survey to map. It is sent into Geological Survey in New Jersey and does get part of the official record.
All right, now this is pretty tight. You have to go in on your belly, okay?
Okay.
Awesome! That was unbelievable! Cool!
You did it!
That is so cool!
If you'd like to try caving, you can, but first, you need to get in touch with an official caving association.
That's very important. And we'll put you in touch with just the right caving group if you call our 800 number at the end of the show. Now tell me, Ross, would you ever go underneath the ground, do a little exploring like that?
Maybe I could, maybe I would. But first, I'd return back to New Brunswick. The next time you're driving down Route 1, 18, or the Turnpike and see a sign for New Brunswick, head in that direction. If you haven't been to the city, you really are missing out on some good fun in a great place. The city's downtown region is a testimony to urban redevelopment. It's a center for business, entertainment, and education. Like many college towns, students generate lots of energy, and those attending Rutgers University are no different. There's something for everyone in New Brunswick. You'll find art and theater for those looking for entertainment.
And off we go. Every community we pass through, they send out a delegation to meet us. Oh, and here are trucks full of radio and TV crews. You know what's really ridiculous? That it's actually news now when somebody walks somewhere.
To enjoy the theater and all that New Brunswick has to offer, take exit 9 off the Turnpike. Or, if you choose to leave the car at home, ride a train right into the center of town. Intrigued by history, antiques, and architecture, this church is nearly 2 centuries old. This is the Henry Guest House. Built in 1760, this is one of the oldest structures in New Brunswick. The stone farmhouse was moved to its present site on Livingston Avenue in 1925. And then there's Buccleuch Mansion. Deeded to the city by its last owner, Anthony Day, the mansion sits on 70 acres of land. Inside, there are 3 floors loaded with antiques. Each room represents a different style and period. And what about the 70 acres of land? Well, like the mansion, it was given to the city and turned into a park, Buccleuch Park, or as the locals call it, Bugalow Park. Now, if you want something to eat, take your pick. There's also shopping, with many of the stores in the same vicinity. And if the day wasn't long enough to see it all, stay the night. You can start all over tomorrow. You know, everything I talked about in the story, the theaters, restaurants, all of it's right there together. You can walk to all of it.
Boy, it sounds like my kind of town, too. Hey, guess what? We've got to say goodbye.
Oh, that's right. We'll see you the next time on Discover New Jersey.
Bye.
I'll bet she's going to be dirty.
Scratched.
Oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Yes, you're over there.
Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the tri-state area. For more information on the places and events we've just discovered, and for a free travel guide, call 1-800-JERSEY-7, extension 910.
Major funding for Discover New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism.
It covers New Jersey and is the only station that does so, not New York or not Philadelphia stations.
It's, I think, the only sort of quality television shows on.
It gives me news about my neighbors.
It keeps me informed.
New Jersey's primary season culminates Tuesday when voters make their presidential picks and choose their congressional candidates. NJN wraps it all up for you on Tuesday night starting at 9. The latest returns, live reports, and analysis that sums it all up. Primary 92, the results right here on NJN Tuesday at 9.
Next time on The Machine That Changed the World, a future where information flows across oceans and continents, where we are totally dependent on computers and the software which controls them. That's the world at your fingertips. Next time on The Machine That Changed the World.
Hi, I'm Hella Young, and here are tonight's winning New Jersey lottery numbers. Good luck, everyone.
You're watching NJN, the New Jersey channel. WNJM, transmitting from Montclair State.
There are times to borrow, times to spend, times to save, and times to give. First Fidelity is a proud underwriter of New Jersey Network.
The screen of warships. There's no more warships between us and the beach.
Sail on, O ship of state. Sail on, O Union, strong and great. To
Humanity, with all its fears, with all the hopes of future years, is hanging breathless on thy fate.
Enemy heavy cross-shelling and bombing. They have been shelling us faster than you can count. Armed, weak, from pounding key, long hours. No rest, short rations. Damage terrific. Too much for guys to take. Corregidor used to be a nice place. It's haunted now. They have got us all around and from skies. My name, Irving Strobing. Get this to my mother and tell my mother how you heard from me. Stand by.
Nothing further has been heard from Corregidor.
Lee DeForest was 68 when the war began. Disappointed to discover that the war would be won even without my help, and embarrassed when one of his new inventions, a self-directing bomb, narrowly missed the generals who had gathered with him to see it tested. Just as he had during World War I, Howard Armstrong offered his services to the country.
He was an extremely great patriot. World War II really proved that more than World War I by the simple fact that he immediately, and he wasn't asked to do this, he did this on his own very quickly, turned all his patents over to the U.S. government for free.
This time, David Sarnoff went to war, supervising the design of the communications system that helped make possible the invasion of Normandy.
That appears to be the only firing so far. It is perhaps the initial warning to the Nazis on the beach.
General Dwight D. Eisenhower.
People of Western Europe. A landing was made this morning on the coast of France by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force.
When David Sarnoff returned to RCA in January of 1945, word spread through the corridors at Rockefeller Center, the laboratories in New Jersey, and the factories in Pennsylvania, California, and Indiana, that henceforth, the president of RCA was to be called General Sarnoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base.
7 p.m. Eastern Wartime. Bob Trout reporting. The Japanese have accepted our terms fully. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the Second World War. That's the word we've just received from the White House in Washington.
But the war's end brought no peace in the battle over FM.
I can't account for the antipathy, the enmity, the feeling that built up in later years between Sarnoff and Armstrong. I don't know whose fault it was. I never saw the need or the reason for it, and I always thought it was most unfortunate because to the extent that it led to Armstrong's death, it was a terrible waste of extremely valuable talent. I mean, who knows what additional developments could have come from Armstrong in his later years. And of course, we'll never know.
Presenting the big change in television styling.
Peace will find the world on the threshold of television, David Sarnoff said. And he made sure RCA was ready.
The big change, complete restyling. The big change.
I think the thing that surprised us was how quickly it came. How quickly we got to the critical mass
where advertisers were interested in going in and spending substantial sums of money.
And you flip, yes sirree, about the big change in RCA Victor television history. The big change. The big change.
By 1954, 55, people no longer talked about radio. The old days, the old programs were either transferred to television by that time, like Amos and Andy, Fred Allen, and so forth, or they were gone altogether.
I think really, ladies and gentlemen, television is going to be the undoing of radio eventually, because I'll tell you why. In the old days, an actor in the radio could go up to an empty radio studio, do a terrible program, and go home without worrying. Nobody knew what he looked like. But with television, if you do a bad program, everybody can see you, and somebody, sure as fate as you're walking home, is going to get you and beat your brains out on the way home. But that's all we have time for. That's right, sir. We're going to have the same trouble in television I had in radio. That's right. They cut you all the time. We'll be back in just a moment.
When people speak of the golden age of radio, they're speaking of the shortest golden age in history. Its golden years perhaps covered a decade, little more than that, maybe 15 years. And it was cut short by the release of television.
Tonight, you are enjoying the miracle of radio. Radio at its finest over frequency modulation.
But Howard Armstrong was still stubbornly determined to stick with FM. Meanwhile, the Federal Communications Commission had declared that all sound for television would be carried over FM, which meant millions in royalties for Armstrong. But RCA refused to pay royalties, encouraged other manufacturers not to pay them either, and developed circuits which it claimed were different. And in an attempt to put Armstrong out of business once and for all, Sarnoff successfully lobbied the FCC to change FM's frequency, making obsolete every one of the radios Armstrong had licensed. Armstrong fought back as best he could, launching a series of suits against RCA and other giant corporations as well, whose big profits were built on his inventions. He charged infringements of his patents in violation of the antitrust laws.
This went on for many, many years, and it was a repetitive type of battle. He'd prove it and then have to prove it over again and over again. And the lawsuits and the dollars and the time just must have done something.
He knew what he was up against. They will stall this thing until I'm dead or broke, he said, after paying his first $1 million in legal fees. Royalty income dwindled. His patents were expiring. His health deteriorated. But he could not help himself.
It's a kind of an irony that those qualities that resulted in his great accomplishments in radio, the ability to go through a brick wall on radio theory, were the very qualities which broke him down.
By 1953, Armstrong had spent another $1 million fighting his case. His attorney predicted that he would win in the end, but it would take another 9 years. That Thanksgiving, all the intensity and frustration of Armstrong's obsessive battle with RCA suddenly exploded in a great rage upon his wife. Armstrong swung with a fire poker. The blow landed on Marion's right arm. In a panic, she fled. Their marriage was over.
Armstrong kept driving himself, kept getting more and more in debt. He had at one time been the largest shareholder of RCA. He sold most of his stock, and he was fighting this giant corporation with all the resources that it had. He had been a man of enormous drive, tension, and he had driven himself to the breaking point, and it finally snapped.
Sunday, January 31st, 1954, marked the 40th anniversary of Howard Armstrong's demonstration of his first great invention, the regenerative circuit, to the chief inspector of the old Marconi Company, David Sarnoff. In other years, they had marked the anniversary of their friendship with a telegram or letter. Fix your gaze and energies on the next 20 years, Sarnoff had told Armstrong on the 20th anniversary in 1934, so that the telegrams and letters they would exchange at the end of the next generation would make them feel still young, even then. The 20 years had passed. They were enemies now, and Armstrong had been defeated. In his bedroom that evening, he wrote a letter to Marion, filled with regret for the way their lives had turned out. God keep you, he added at the end, and may the Lord have mercy on my soul. Edwin Howard Armstrong had always loved high places. The 125-foot tower behind his house in Yonkers, the New Jersey Palisades he climbed as a youth, the WJZ Tower, with its great strap iron ball 400 feet above 42nd Street, and his own FM tower across the Hudson in New Jersey. Now he removed the air conditioner from his bedroom window. He put on his hat, scarf, overcoat, and gloves, opened the window, and stepped out, 13 stories above the street. A maintenance man found his body on a third-floor terrace the next morning.
My father called me at work, which was very unusual, and said that my uncle was sick and that my mother needed me and could I please come home. And I went in to tell my roommate that I was going to be leaving early. I would not be going home with her. And she was holding a copy of the afternoon newspaper, which she suddenly put behind her back. And she said, "Oh, yes, I know." And I said, what's the newspaper? Why are you hiding that from me? And she wouldn't give it to me at first. And finally, she let me see it, and there on the first page was the news report of my uncle's suicide. On the ride home, I remember thinking, almost of course, almost really I shouldn't be surprised that this is sort of what was going to happen. There really wasn't a happy ending to this story.
He died thinking he was a failure. He didn't seem to understand, as I look at it, that he was more of a success than many of these people that he thought he was fighting against. For example, I would say that 300 years from now, there will be people, students at least, who will read his classic paper on FM and know about his work, and they'll never heard of Sarnoff or DeForest.
I did not kill Armstrong, the stunned David Sarnoff quickly declared, and then led a delegation of mourners from RCA to the funeral. Lee DeForest had no public comment, but in private begged for details about his hated rival's death. "Well, Armstrong is gone and I am alive," he said, "and hope to live for many years more." What a contrast.
Well, now, we've done our best, sir, in 30 minutes to just touch the high spots, Dr. DeForest, merely to hint at the vastness of your gift to the world. We'd have to measure the laughter of every motion picture, the pleasure and education of all television and radio, now and forever, the wages earned by millions in the electronic industry, and all the lives spared in peace and war because of you. That is but a fraction of our debt to you. This is your life, Dr. Lee DeForest. In a moment, a word about your future, sir. Meanwhile, here's exciting news for all you ladies out there.
DeForest wrote a boastful autobiography called Father of Radio and tried to persuade his wife to write one of her own, to be called I Married a Genius. Through friends, he tried to sell his story to Hollywood, lobbied for a Nobel Prize, even hired a public relations man to keep his name in the papers. It didn't work. As a publicity gimmick, his publisher sent him a letter addressed only to the Father of Radio, Hollywood, California. If it was delivered, DeForest was to tell the press of his fame. But the post office returned the envelope marked addressee unknown. In 1957, DeForest suffered a serious heart attack and spent the last years of his life confined to his bed. With his fourth wife at his side, he died quietly in his house in Hollywood on the last day of June, 1961. At the end, he had just $1,250 in the bank.
I think the world should remember Lee DeForest as the one who put the third element in the audience, the basis of a science that grew out of that, radio. But the work was done by others.
David Sarnoff commissioned a flattering biography of himself, and when its author proved insufficiently worshipful, wrote several admiring passages on his own. He successfully launched color television, set the stage for satellite communications, and predicted that by 1990, every home would have its own nuclear power plant in the basement.
I think as his fame grew and as his success grew, Sarnoff became absolutely obsessed with the idea of establishing his place as a unique American industrial leader in history. And to a degree that I've never seen before, he insisted that everything concerning his life, his public life, be documented.
He built a library dedicated largely to displaying artifacts from his own life, then insisted on passing his company on to his son. Ultimately, RCA would pass into the hands of outsiders. And he basked in the admiration of the rich and powerful.
His kind of vision was always so clear, the kind of spirit that must persevere. Without his talents, I might not be here. That's why the gentleman, he's a champ.
David Sarnoff died in 1971. His funeral was testimony to how far the Russian immigrant had come.
David Sarnoff's life exemplifies the greatest product of the American civilization, the free individual. His life tells us that one man, raised in a nation that reveres the individual, can lift the horizons of all mankind to shape a better world. Such a man was General David Sarnoff.
Howard Armstrong's widow, Marion, took up her husband's cause and won every one of his patent suits, though it took her 15 years to do so. She lived out her life in the home he had bought for her at Rye Beach, New Hampshire, driving out in the Hispano-Suiza in which he had courted her 40 years before. it had no radio.
One of the things that interests me about these three men is when you look at their lives, they live in worlds that are no more. They live in a very different world than what we live in today. And they seemed oblivious to the fact that they were changing the world in which they lived. And that they were changing it in directions that they could not anticipate.
The Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization.
Yesterday,
Upon it depends our own British
December
life,
7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Men will still say, this was their finest hour.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin from CBS World News. A press association has just announced that President Roosevelt is dead. The president died of a cerebral hemorrhage.
Ladies and gentlemen,
A child who was asked whether he preferred radio to television. And he said, radio. And the father said, why? And the child answered, because the pictures are better.
Presenting Mr. Keene, tracer of lost persons.
The Quaker Oats Company, makers of Quaker Puff Wheat and Quaker Puff Rice, the delicious cereal shot from guns.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again we present Mr. Keene, tracer of lost persons.
You know, it's hard to tell just what to talk about over the radio. You know, you folks you talk to.
Today is National Defense Test Day.
yes, here is radio's richest voice since 1926, the Spartan. Spartan offers you beauty inside and out.
In the National Broadcasting Company will now attempt to present an exclusive shortwave broadcast, bringing you a talk by Martha Gellhorn, who will discuss the American battalion in Spain.
Right and left to the head, a left to the jaw, a right to the head, and Donovan is watching carefully. Lewis measures him, right to the body, a left hook to the jaw, and Schmeling is down. The men are...
Henry Aldrich! Coming, Mother!
I'll knock and see what happens.
Somebody I say, somebody knock.
Yes, I know.
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn,
I
that
know
is.
you're from the South.
When I'm in New York, I'll never go to the Yankee Stadium.
Now, wait.
Yes, you try Wheaties, for wheat is the best food of man. They're crispy and crunchy, the whole.
Wait, hold it. Just a minute. It appears the forces of live radio have dropped a viper into the fiddle section.
Let me alone. I'll get it. All
right. Take the exercises once more. Yes, sir.
Play it softly, play it tender. Where can I go to surrender?
It is reported that at 8:50 p.m., a huge flaming object, believed to be a meteorite, fell on a farm in the neighborhood of Grover's Mill, New Jersey, 22 miles from Trenton.
What would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say? What's the diameter of this?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is... Nothing's happening.
It was like looking over the rim of a volcano in the process of erupting, even though 12 hours after the bomb had been dropped. Nagasaki is a mass of angry flames and smoke now, a blazing area extending at least 10 square miles.
Empire of the Air was underwritten by General Motors on behalf of all its employees worldwide. General Motors, committed to excellence in quality products and television programming.
Major funding for this program has also been provided by a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
As an additional service of this station, Empire of the Air, The Men Who Made Radio, is available from PBS Home Video. To order by credit card, call 1-800-634-4PBS.
This is PBS.
Call 1-800-441-3000 to order your companion book to Empire of the Air, The Men Who Made Radio, written by Tom Lewis and published by HarperCollins. The price is $25 plus shipping and handling.
It began 5,000 years ago in an area we now call Iraq. People gathered together to create the first city, and in the process, they created civilization. Join Michael Wood across 4 continents, 14 countries, and centuries of human wisdom. This extraordinary search reveals the very first civilizations and their continuing legacy.
Civilization arose independently in a handful of places on the face of the earth. In Iraq, Egypt, India, China, and here in the jungles of the Americas.
See how the emergence of government, religion, and trade helped to spread the seeds of civilization to all parts of the world, including our own.
The West's progress to civilization has been long and painful.
Don't miss this chance to discover our legacy.
I'm Jim Lara. The 5 major candidates for the Democratic presidential nomination will meet for 2 hours on these public television stations January 31st. They will debate the economic and other issues that are shaping their race for the 1992 nomination. Join Robert McNeil and me Friday evening for the Democrats' debate here on public television.
Katarina Witt's performance is flawless, but not spectacular. Debbie Thomas steps onto the ice.
She has to stay clean. She has to stay clean with all 5 triples.
16 Days of Glory, Saturday and Sunday at 2. Support for this evening's broadcast cost is provided in part by Crane's New York Business. Crane's, New York's only business newspaper.
Good evening. Reaction continues to pour in over President Bush's State of the Union speech last night, and as you might expect, the Democratic presidential contenders are having their way with it. The candidates are specifically targeting the president's economic proposals as they continue to campaign in New Hampshire. But the Democrats aren't the only ones having a problem with President Bush's plan. Republican challenger Pat Buchanan accuses Bush of stealing some of his ideas and calls last night's speech a political recovery plan. The New Hampshire primary is less than 3 weeks away. Meanwhile, the president has presented his $1.5 trillion budget to Congress and is renewing his call to have it enacted by March 20th. There was more bad economic news today as Bethlehem Steel says it's cutting 6,500 jobs in the face of a $638 million loss in the 4th quarter. In addition, Bethlehem will sell some of its operations. According to the National Weather Service forecast, today's mild temperatures will continue. The skies will remain clear this evening, giving way to patchy fog at dawn. Tonight's low should stay in the mid-30s. What little fog there is will burn away early tomorrow. Expect sunny skies with temperatures reaching 50 degrees. Friday, the weather will take a little dip. Look for variable cloudiness with a high around 40. Now for a quick scan over some of tomorrow's headlines. In Thursday's New York Times, word that a Manhattan judge has sentenced the Egyptian immigrant El Said Nosser to maximum sentences on charges stemming from the assassination of Rabbi Meir Kahane. Nosser was convicted of weapons possession, assault, and coercion. Although the judge criticized the jury for acquitting him of murder charges, Nosser could serve as many as 22 years in prison. Also in the Times, 16 of the city's 120 high schools make condoms available to students, but relatively few youngsters are requesting them. The paper reports that school administrators are explaining the slow distribution by guessing that fear of AIDS may be increasing abstinence among city teenagers. Also in the Times, word that Southern California law